Now, my name is Anthony Rix, retired Rear Admiral, and I'll come to that in a minute. More importantly, I was told to start with a joke. Oliver's going to tell me if I get this wrong. What ends in 2016?
2015.
Very good, almost, 2016. 2016 ends in 2016. Yeah. But yeah, you get 9 out of 10 for that one, well done. Well done. What's blue but smells like red paint?
Blue paint.
Blue paint. Now, don't shoot me for those jokes. You shoot that guy over there.
I told you not to. I told you they'd get them without them.
Yeah. Now, a little bit about myself, and I'm going to give you a few things about the Navy. And in some respects, what I'm going to do over the next, 10 or 15 minutes?
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Is actually pose a problem. And if you guys got any solutions, I'd love to hear them. But at the moment, I'm working with SeriousInsight.ai with Peter and Oliver and a bunch of other guys. There are guys and girls. There are about 15 of us there at the moment. It's an early startup company, and essentially what we're doing, we are improving situational awareness for people at sea. Now, what do I mean by situational awareness? It is the awareness of your environment. For example, for me at the moment, my situational awareness is restricted to this room. I want to get to know you. I want to find out who the talkative ones are. I want to find out who the amusing ones are. I won't know your names. Life would be a lot better if I did know your names. So therefore, my situational awareness at the moment is limited. When you get to the sea, and the sea is vast, there are people out there operating, be it oil and gas workers, commercial shipping companies, navies, fishing boats, yachtsmen, all sorts of people like that, and they all want to know what is going on in their environment. And their environment could extend to 1 mile around them. It could extend across the oceans. Navies want to know what is going on across the oceans. And the more they know about what is going on, what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen, the better they can be at their jobs. That is situational awareness, and that is what we are aiming to improve through our development program at sea. I'm going to talk to you about technology developments in the Royal Navy over the last 100 years. Oh my God, I hear you say, we're going to be here all night. Well, actually, nothing really...
It didn't change slides.
What?
It didn't change slides.
Yeah, that's right, no. I decided not to. Nothing really happened in the first 95 years. So I'm going to tell you how it was. This is why I need a new slide. Boom. And I'll then raise some problems. A nice thing for me about working in a company like Serious Insight is that if one of them said to me a few weeks ago, did I understand what he was doing? So the answer was, I don't know what you're doing. No, rather, I know what you're doing, I don't know how you do it. But equally, what I bring to the company, hopefully, is a bit of experience. We're focused on the maritime environment. You've got a retired Rear Admiral here who knows a little bit about waves and seagulls. So this is really where technology meets operations. I provide the operational input. Right. Just over 100 years ago, Battle of Jutland, ships looked a little bit like this. The ship was there to carry the gun, huge great gun, into battle. Most of the battles would be ship against ship. This actually commemorates the Battle of Jutland, which is a battle that took place in 1916, out in the North Sea. In terms of situational awareness, what the captains of these ships needed to do was first of all find the enemy. Where was he? I mean, they had zeppelins. They didn't have satellites and things in those days. They had radars. They had the crow's nest, which is where people went to look to try and find the enemy. Once they found the enemy, they then need to sink him. And using these guns, but directing the shell from that gun over maybe probably 10 or 12 miles and getting it to go anywhere close, let alone hit the ship, was actually quite a technological feat in those days. In these days, some of the fire control systems were fairly rudimentary. They weren't computers. They were fairly rudimentary, but actually they had some pretty stunning results. It's not a simple feat. If you're chucking a lump of lead, or whatever it might be, lump of high explosive, over, let's say, 10 miles, you've got to take into account the ballistics, that's the wind, the pressure, goodness knows what. If two of you are going along on a bicycle, and you want to throw a tennis ball from one bicycle to another, and don't try this at home, then it's easy when you're stopped, just chuck it over. When you're moving, there's a much more complicated problem. And so back in those days, sorting out this sort of problem was rudimentary but highly effective. In between 1916 and today came my career. I joined the Navy years ago, in the mid-70s. I went to Cambridge to read engineering. After my first year I got expelled. That's another story which we could come to, but we'll leave that for the moment. Since then I've had the most wonderful career, 35, 34 years in the Navy, and I did a number of things. I was based in Hong Kong for overall 3 years, and in those days we were trying to restrict Chinese immigration into Hong Kong. Hong Kong was then a British colony, and I was the second in command in that ship. I navigated this ship, and just by chance you might have heard that British tankers in the Straits of Hormuz are being escorted in and out by British warships. That's exactly what I was doing actually 30 years ago. Then I commanded this thing. There's a destroyer. I got about 300 people on board. I was 34, 35 when I was the captain of that, and we had quite an exciting time. By chance, that is the Royal Naval College where I trained. And then I commanded this thing. It's a frigate, and I'll tell you a bit more about frigates in a minute. But I was a captain then, so I was then aged probably up to 40, I suppose. And we went out to the Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, Persian Gulf, call it what, and we were doing a patrol out there. Whilst we were out there, the USS Cole was attacked in Aden Harbour, and that was the year before 9/11, which I do. Have you heard of 9/11?
Yeah.
Fine, good. I mean, I went. Okay, and then I went to do other things. I commanded. This is a fleet of ships which I was lucky enough to command. This was immediately after 9/11. This was a counter-terrorist patrol in the northern Arabian Sea. I was based in Bahrain, and we went out there looking for terrorists. And that was my team. Now we're going to come on to operations rooms in a minute. But I left the Navy 10 years ago, went to Monaco to try and get into super yachts. Didn't manage that, and I ended up where I am now. The sea is a busy place. At the moment, depending on how you count them, there are about 200,000 vessels at sea, and whether or not that includes yachts is a different matter. 95% of global trade, so everything that this country imports, or 95% of everything this country imports or exports, goes by sea, and 71% of the world is covered by sea. There's a lot going on out there. The red lines are essentially shipping lanes. Ships will go the shortest distance from A to B. You know, if there's a rock in the way, they'll go around that, of course. But this is a sort of heat map of most of the shipping lanes, and you can see them. Let's say one of the big routes is from the Far East, China, out through the Malacca Straits, through the Suez Canal, and to Europe. So it's a busy place, and not everything that takes place at sea is legal. 2004, piracy in the Indian Ocean kicked off. This is Somali pirates who are incredibly effective, and they attacked a lot of ships. That is the amount of piracy attacks in the Indian Ocean in 2011. The red ones are ships which are hijacked by Somali pirates. The yellow ones are just an attack. But if you go back to situational awareness, which really is the point of my talk now, is how do you what sort of system do you need? And I don't know what the answer is, in order to detect a potential attack by pirates, to enable you to get the right forces, navies, coast guard, whoever it might be, into position to prevent that attack. This was getting so bad. In fact, Christmas 2011, I think it was, there were 30 ships being held hostage by Somali pirates that year. 30. Each of them achieved a ransom of around about $10 million. This was the sort of thing that could have stopped trade going through that, and that would be unthinkable. So, but we only knew that the pirates were there when they attacked a ship. So situational awareness was not good. And navies, I started off talking about the Battle of Jutland. Navies are not all about just battles, it's about other stuff. Navies are here to keep the sea lanes open. And most recently at the Straits of Hormuz, we've had Iran, rightly or wrongly, and we won't get into that, capturing or taking a British tanker. So the Navy, yet again, after 30 years, is back there protecting ships going in and out. Another thing, this is with Brexit and all that sort of stuff, people are interested about immigration. It's not just a British thing, it's an international thing. Navy might be called in to control the channel for migrants. Okay, ships. Now, we're now rolling forward 95 years, from 1916 to pretty well today. This is a ship that I commanded. These are, let's call them the workhorses of the Navy. It's a frigate. You don't always have the sailors standing on the side of the deck. That's just to make the ship look pretty. Around about 200, 250 sailors on board. And this ship has loads of, all the ships like this, they have lots of sensors. So you've got radars, which essentially look for things above the water, be it aeroplanes, other ship. That radar will be able to see out to about 30, 40 miles, which in sea terms is not very, very, very far. That radar, which is more for a surface, looking for surface contacts, might be able to see out to the horizon, which is around about 12 miles. That radar is used to guide some missiles which come out of there. You've got a gun, you've got surface-to-air missiles, you've got anti-ship missiles, sonar. Sonar is there to detect things underwater, so submarines. And once you've detected a submarine, if it's a baddie, then you've got torpedoes which you can fire it in. There's a helicopter, communications. There's a lot of information coming into a frigate, and it all needs to be fused and analysed so that the captain can make the right decision. So, if we consider this to be the enemy, the sort of information we might have on him is, I said that most frigates have got a couple of radars. So radar A, we might be tracking him. But in tracking him, it's just a blip. We don't know who he is. We might have some intelligence assessments. We might have a report that says normally on the third Monday of each month, this ship goes to sea on a patrol. So we might have an idea where he is. We might have some historical information. We might be tracking him using another radar. There might be other ships around. We might get information from other ships, information from helicopters, and we might be able to see him. All this information, I say, needs to be fused. Inside the heart of the ship is an operations room. And when you're going to action, when things are getting exciting, there could be up to about 40 or 50 people in this operations room. And this is the bit where I think we need to improve. And I'm not going to give you a solution because, well, you're probably a much better place to come up with a solution than me. There'll be teams looking at different aspects of the war. Underwater warfare. People trying to find the submarines, trying to separate the good submarines from the bad submarines. Surface warfare. People looking for other ships. Above water warfare, making sure that missiles and other planes don't get too close to the ship. Electronic warfare. You can listen and analyse radars and communications. Intelligence, ship control. All of this information, and I don't know how many people I've got up there, it's around about 20. Actually, the truth is probably at least double that. All that information goes to the captain with assessments. What are we going to do? And it's all around situational awareness, trying to paint a picture in the captain's mind as to what is happening. He will then make the decision with some advice as to what to do. And what to do is to fire missiles, fire the gun, launch a helicopter, fire torpedoes, or communicate a plan. And I've been in that position many a time, and it is fascinating, but I always felt that I was being overloaded, and what I wanted was some technological help. So you guys are much better to come up with a solution to that. How do you avoid the captain? How do you develop and paint a good picture as what's going on and avoid the captain being overloaded? That's it.